Okay, I think we're live. Welcome everyone to the Chopping Block, episode 3. Yes. So I guess this is the biannual stream that I'm doing. And once again, it's gonna be about an adaptation that is gone horribly wrong. And with me, I have Hawk and
Hello.
Smudboy.
Hi guys.
Ah, isn't it fun to see things that you love dying in front of your eyes?
I'm not totally convinced it's horrible. I'm just turned off by the second episode. The first one was hit and miss for me. I liked it, and parts I didn't like. So I have hopes.
Me and Hawk have the terrible curse that we have seen the Mr. House scene, the round table discussion.
I just learned that's
to bomb the population.
I just learned that's Mr. House is now I want to watch all of it really quickly because I want to get to House. That's my favorite character out of all this, and if they screwed him up, I'm going to be very sad.
He's in for 5 seconds and they completely destroy his character. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, this has been an amazing month. We've got what is it? Nova, Arizona was announced in beta. We've got the New Vegas, London coming out another week. Like, I'm really happy for all the wonderful Fallout stuff we're getting. And the show just came out. I was like, oh, I haven't watched TV in a while. Thought I'd check it out. I was happy. The first episode, like, that's got some promise. And then I watched the second one, and I'm like, ooh, they went too goofy. They went a little too silly.
Not
good.
My issue with the show is I'm autistic with lore in anything that I get slightly interested in. So when I see like things that break the law, it's a bit like, no, I can't unsee it, and it's like it ruins it for me. It takes me out.
I think the trank gun. I was like, where's there a trank gun in Fallout? And there never was.
4.
There was a trank gun in Fallout 4? Really?
Syringer, it's called, where it just like you can like make your own ammunition.
Okay, interesting.
I really call it a tranquilizer gun. It just shoots needles at people.
Oh no! This
like the weapon from Team Fortress 2 for the Mac.
Well, this is the reason why I ask is because I don't remember. And in the show, like if you guys know anything about anesthesiology, it's a very delicate thing. You can't just like, I'm going to shoot a guy 3 times in the back with a trank gun, which is probably a neurotoxin or a benzomorphine or something like that. And if they fall down instantly, they're dead. They are dead.
I missed out on that lesson in
okay, well, if you talk to an anesthesiologist or if you go to your dentist or whatever, they'll talk about all the Xanax and Valium and all the basic stuff. But if you have a trank gun, you know what that's filled with? Either diazepam or fentanyl. That thing will knock you this shit out really quick, if not kill you. So if you have a small man, and
I'm sorry, Schwartz, fentanyl doesn't kill anybody.
Oh, are you sure about that?
100%. Now, if you said it shot knees onto people, I'd have believed you.
This is a black thing, isn't it?
Yes. Anyway, sorry.
We trank the black guys with the diazepam and the fentanyl.
Was he black in the show? We need to know.
Well, the funny thing about this was she goes to the armor and she takes a trank gun. She shoots the first guy she comes across, and he's like flailing around for like 20 seconds and just falls over a railing. And then she shoots another guy in the solar plexus, and he like collapses like a bag of potatoes. You're like, what is going on? How does this thing work? The magic. It's the stupid, like, this is a dumb thing in murder mysteries. They have the knockout drops, the knockout syringe. It's like, oh, I didn't kill him. It was a ruse. It's like, really? In the 1920s.
I can imagine a smut screaming at Metal Gear Solid when they introduced the tranquilizer gun. And it was a sniper rifle, if I remember correctly.
Well, they had diazepam in the game to make your muscles relax, because the stupid game mechanics was like the sniper rifle kept moving around.
Yes.
to make it realistic, because Kojima's a retard and he wanted, well, you take some drugs, they'll last for 20 seconds so you could shoot your sniper rifle not like a bobbling baby. So you're like moving, like I'm prone. What do I need to? What could I possibly be holding in my hand? Like I'm juggling something. But here's a shot at diazepam. Oh no, I could shoot Sniper Wolf properly. Like, thanks. Hideo,
Oh,
that's
the
really
thing,
good.
that's
the thing with
great.
tranquilizers is
addition.
because obviously my partner has horses.
Oh,
Once you start knowing what needs to be done to knock a horse out, and then you start realizing, oh, you've got to like know the exact amounts. You're like, yeah, if people get shot by these tranquilizers, that yeah,
that's
not just as
why
simple.
the police don't use them, is because it's easier to tackle someone than it is to accidentally kill someone if they're too small. They don't have a large amount of blood in them, like they're a small bodied person.
Yeah.
So I remember in the Metal Gear Solid games, that freaking trank gun was described as taking down a rhino instantly.
Oh
Yes.
shit! Oh, kill
Yeah,
a person.
but with the trank gun in Metal Gear Solid 2, you shoot them full of like 5 darts. They're like standing a bit for a bit, and they're like, yeah, they collapse.
Oh my god! One one shot. It's like, oh, I've killed him. No, he's just unconscious. No, I think he's dead actually.
They use that on elephants now. They use that freaking
Ooh.
fentanyl on elephants. It's crazy.
But it's like, was it certain like bull elephants? You've got to have so much that, yeah. Wow.
I can't
Anyway.
wait to fight elephants in the wasteland.
Fallout.
Yes.
Anyway,
Plus the
Fallout.
scene where
Fallout.
she fights that guy, like she has the water pitcher, she clunks him on the head, so he's already got a concussion. Then the water breaks, and then I thought she sliced his jugular. I thought, oh my god, she just freaking gutted him, and you see him bleeding on the ground. I was like, oh, he's dead. And then like 10 minutes later, he's back, and you're like, what? Oh, he cut his cheek. I'm like, wait a second. If he had a concussion, was knocked out, had a gash the size of up to his ear of his cheek, he would have been bled out. He could have still been alive, but he wouldn't have any energy. He'd be totally like, I don't know if you guys have ever gotten your blood taken out for going to the doctor. You're woozy for 20 minutes. You can't really do much.
Yeah, I had an operation half a year ago. It was exactly like that.
Yeah,
I actually passed out after the third time they took blood from me.
You will lose a lot of motion in the first 20 minutes, and then your body will start using up whatever glycogen or protein from your muscles, and okay, then you could use your muscles again. But this guy's still bleeding out. He's got this huge hole in his face, and he's still strangling Lucy. And I'm like, okay. And then the father comes by, smacks him on the back of the head with a shovel. He's still standing. He hits him in the face with a shovel. Again, he's still standing. Then he grabs him by the back of the neck, and then puts him in the. I don't know where this bucket or this barrel of water came from. Apparently, water in the Fallout universe is abundant, and they put vegetables in there. And I was like, "What the hell is this?"
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm like, "This is a wedding party. Like, are they bobbing for vegetables? I don't know." So
No,
it's
a well known ceremony. You bob for apples before you get married.
I had to pause. Like, what is happening in this scene? It's so hilarious that the whole wedding scenario is ludicrous. Like, you just sit there. There's all these raiders like shooting up the place and eating cake with their hands and killing people. And Lucy walks in with a trank gun. And I'm like, okay, this is so stupid. So yeah, the whole scene is chaotic. I don't know what the point of that scene was, aside to steal the father, and we don't know why. And then I got confused about the vault 33, 32, 31, what that meant, because the son who's got the recessive genes, he's a little guy, and that's why the whole story made sense to me, because they need to breed, and they can't breed with family members because that's what breeding in inbred does. People think it's mutations. It's not mutations. It's recessive traits that you will keep breeding and breeding until you have this recessively traded generation of children. So it makes sense to breed with another vault. So perfect, fine. But then the guy just walks out of the vault. It's like, is he in the vault or is he outside the vault? No, he's in another vault. So I'm like, there's interconnected vaults. I was thinking of like Attack on Titan, where there's
The wall system.
There's a Maria wall and there's the other
Yeah.
walls. Like, well, why not just have like a subsection or just call it the district or whatever, so people understand what the hell this is? Because
Yeah, because original vaults, like from what I remember from Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas, is that it had like levels. Like you can go down, and there's at least 5 or 6 levels.
yeah,
for
in
each
Fallout 1
vault.
and 2, you're right. They
Yeah.
had multiple up and down elevators,
The,
and yeah, there was all kinds of things. That's the beautiful thing about Fallout 1 and 2. If you look at it from a historical viewpoint of what the plot is, this is just Fallout 3 all over again. Lucy's leaving the vault to look for her daddy. It's like, oh, that's exactly the same plot as Fallout 3. And if you look at if you look at Fallout 1 all the way to whatever 5 is going to be, this is the big joke of the Christians.
That makes so much sense, because the guy Jonathan Nolan, who is the brother of Christopher Nolan, has been a fan of Fallout, and then I read about that article, and it explains that. Well, I have been a fan of Fallout ever since the release of Fallout 3. And I was like, oh yes, that makes so much sense. He probably doesn't know too much about the original games, or like what they do. All he has is like this Bethesda Fallout, and what they have done to it.
Yeah, no,
well,
Bethesda.
Talking about vaults being interlinked. The only example I can think that's slightly like that is in Fallout 4 with Vault 81, but it's a secret lab next to the vault.
Yes.
The vault tech like scientists were meant to be in there to view. Is it like the medicines and everything? Vault 81 was doing.
Or wait, no,
With the mole rat.
remember, like there was the New Vegas vault that was taken over by powder gangers, and I think there was a difference between blue and red districts, and like it was made to be a social experiment. That one of them was overloaded by materials that can explode easily, and the other one was filled with something else. I can't remember. I think like if they were combined, then you could make bombs. And that's why the powder gangers decided to like take over that place.
Yeah, that was Vault 19 in New Vegas.
Vault 19, yes.
Yeah, and there was the blue sector and the red sector, and
Yeah.
it was all there was an elevator in there as well, and that's where the fire geckos were and all that. Yeah, that I mean, this is the great thing about Fallout. It's all social experiments. Each vault is its own thing. I've never heard of three interconnected vaults. I don't know why they design it that way. So, but anyway, the thing I was going to say about the vaults, or sorry, the plots of the Fallout games. The first one, if you remember, is find the water chip. That's the whole plot. So we say that's called holy water, and then we get to Fallout 2. It's called the Gek, how to find the Garden of Eden, and then we get to Fallout 3. It's find your father. Then we get to Fallout 4 is to find your son. So we're assuming Fallout 5 is going to be to find the Holy Spirit. So it's going to be like religious, plot. I'm going to find faith. I'm going to find some meaning in the wasteland, and you're going to convert followers, or you're going to shun them. It's going to be like an inquisition. You're going to seek out all the.
No. I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks of Dragon Age. Good God.
One thing for sure is that it's gonna be on the East Coast, because like Bethesda really hates the West Coast Fallout lore, like completely. Like every single entry that they have done, like I have noticed that they have added the NCR Ranger uniform to Fallout 76 at one point, and they decided to rename it to some other like town's police department uniform, because like they really despise New Vegas and all its content for some odd reason.
Well, I know that Mr. Todd was involved with, or at least consulted with the production. So,
quite heavily.
Yeah. So he had nothing to do with Vegas. So it's kind of like
he had nothing to do with Vegas, but I just don't really get it, like why they feel the need to retcon or redevelop these details of New Vegas that they have already done, because that is like such a major error that they have done with the Shady Sands history lesson. I don't know if that happened in the episodes that you have already watched.
What happened to Shady Sands?
Basically, there's a
Jesus
scene. Oh no! So that was my biggest beef with the show, from what I've seen. So there's a small scene where Lucy goes into a classroom where they are teaching history, and it's about the fall of the NCR or something like that. And
Yeah.
one of the
No,
final,
it's called The Rise and Fall of the NCR. And so what it's
yes,
got, because I remember the flow chart, it goes like 2142 Shady Sands founded. Then it goes like 2189 NCR created. 2242 NCR becomes the most powerful economic and military nation faction on the west coast. Then it goes 2277, the fall of Shady Sands. Then it shows an arrow to a nuclear explosion.
yes, they basically nuked Shady Sands in 2277,
No,
according to that.
no. It could be any date. It's just the fact that it just says that date, and then the nuke is shown.
Yes.
Well,
Well, they very obviously visualize it like that. Yeah.
well, it doesn't mean all of NCR is gone just because their capital is gone.
They are gone because they're called the NCR remnants.
What?
And they are basically just raiders now.
Yeah, but there's like dozens of cities.
Not in the show. Not in the show.
Not in the
isn't it?
show. Isn't the show situated in LA though?
Yeah, I
The
know
show-
it's right after Fallout 4, I think. I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
2296.
That's 2290 something.
2296 it's set in. And Fallout 4 set in 2287.
It's because what's New Vegas is in 2281, right?
2281, yeah. 2277 is when Fallout 3 is set.
Like I'm gonna show an image because like this is just so hilarious. It's from a column from Lois Sears. Just a moment.
Callum, yeah. Even,
Oh, did they like it?
Oh no!
Callum hates
but
it.
look at this tweet. You can read the talk.
Oh god, my eyesight's not that great. I can't read that.
Can you zoom in?
Wait. Wait, can I zoom in? Wait.
Control scroll up.
Oh my
Is it
god,
there
it's
now?
a miracle. Yeah. How would NPCs be whining about Shady Sands politics in Fallout New Vegas if Shady Sands was nuked 4 years earlier? Simple, the show writers fucked up.
Yeah, there's so many farmers sent to New Vegas. Well, what remains of it to farm, and they are nagging about like the government policies and taxes. Why would they do that if it was fucking nuked?
Shady Sands gets mentioned in Fallout 4 as being perfectly fine.
Yeah, but what happened, Todd Howard?
So the falls obviously happened after 2287. So then why write 2277 on the board?
Wait. Oh, there we go.
It doesn't make sense. The law is like completely broken.
The first thing I noticed was there was no Ron Perlman monologue at the start.
Yes, not yet at least.
So I was like, why would you waste a perfectly good opportunity to do that classic Ron
A black
Perlman?
woman could say it.
They got nothing. It was just some. What was it?
You haven't seen the
gets said.
scene yet.
You haven't seen the scene
It's
yet.
gonna
Oh,
be
God.
taken up by some diversity hire.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. They had Nat King Cole instead of for the music, which that's classic Fallout to have anything Nat King Cole.
Oh yeah, I love this tweet. We can't let those Legion son of a bitches take the dam. The NSR has to win, even though Shady Sands doesn't exist anymore. What? You haven't heard that the capital of one of the factions vying for control here had the government completely wiped out? That's weird.
Boone's like, huh?
Huh?
Look,
Time to kill some Legionnaires.
My favorite thing about it is it says 2277, and every single person, every single person goes, well, 2277 isn't the actual date of it being nuked, you know. I'm like, okay, so every other event on this list has a date for when it happened, but the nuke explosion obviously wasn't that big a deal since it doesn't get a date. Okay, that makes sense.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. You know, like Shady Sands 4 years ago. No, I don't know how it got conscripted into a military to fight in Vegas by a nation that was destroyed years ago. Oh my god.
Yeah, the character, I don't know, the Ghoul character, like he's pretty much
He's called
invincible.
Ghoul.
I can't remember. I don't even. They never said his name. I don't think.
Yeah, he's called the Ghoul.
The Ghoul. Yeah, he's got a gun that I don't know what it does, but it rips holes through people and it also blows them back. Like this is the joke about Hollywood guns, where a shotgun will like push you through a wall or whatever. So this thing not only puts a giant hole in whatever piece of body you've got, it also pushes you back like a gust of wind. So I'm just like, what is up with? Why do they want this ghoul to be so powerful? Like, what is so great about ghouls that I seem to have forgotten that ghouls are just able to live really long, but now they're superhuman.
Well, Bethesda has already retconned them that they basically don't need any water or food because like they can just live uh, on nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because in Fallout 1 and 2, they never had this kind of logic. I perfectly remember that. And then they suddenly are just like immoral vampires.
I still don't know what that blood bag was above his crypt. I don't know if it was saline. I don't know what the heck sustains him, but it's the strangest. I've never like. It's a cool image to have a body buried in the ground, and then you have this IV drip just hanging like you're next to a hospital bed. You're like, what is going? So they dig him up, and he just eviscerates them because he's so strong, and he just like blows everyone up, and it's just like what is? And it's so the scene was really dark, so I couldn't even see it properly. What the
Oh
hell the
no.
action was? So, and plus it's the guy from Justified. I can't remember his name.
Also Grogan.
So, is it Goggins or Grog? Yeah, something like that.
Grogan. He's
Great
actually
actor.
good. Yeah, he is. He's a really good actor. Also,
But-
ironically, I've actually started watching Justified recently, so
Oh, that's a great show. Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
So they got a great act. Like this is this like the girl, Lucy, or actress. She's got the biggest, brightest eyes I have ever
Yes.
seen.
I at first thought it's the same girl from Bell Angel Alita or what.
I was thinking,
because like the CGI was. I thought like she's fake, but she is real.
I was thinking of. Did they do the same thing with how they touched Sonic the Hedgehog, where they changed the trailer? Because I remember watching the trailer
Yes.
for Alita, and her eyes were obviously made to be fake CGI. They were huge, and then I thought they changed in the movie to make her eyes a little more natural because they like her eyes were just. I was like, that's Battle Angel Alita. I'm like, that can't be her. So
apparently they have Fallout 4 contradicts another thing. That's wonderful.
Oh, for country stuff. It's a ghoul settlement. Yeah, called the Slog, where they farm and have a water source. Yeah, it's a swimming pool.
I'm not too fluent on 4. I only played it twice or 3 times, and I liked it.
I'm currently going through it in between my playthroughs of Red Dead 2 and Witcher 3, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Like every time I hear a person talking about Fallout 4, they say like the gameplay is very addicting, as it is just like so much dumb fun. But whenever I ask them about the story, they just say like, "Well, that's the least fun I ever had in a Fallout game. Like the main story is just complete
boring.
trash." And
It's so boring.
if
Honestly,
you really have more fun to go to a Nuka-Cola theme park, that kind of sounds like terrible.
I have no offense, but because of like settlement building mechanic, I spend more time scouring the waste for screws and like springs so I can build a town.
Yeah. Preston Garvey, like, I killed him off in my 3rd play. I was like, I can't take this guy anymore. He's just so annoying. There's always an update.
So much.
We have another settlement. It's like, I just did a settlement 45 minutes ago. Why are you asking? Like, how many people do you know? Why don't they come here and they could dig their own wells and make their own beds? Like, why do I have to do that? Can't you do that?
I once had all the settlements at like 100%, all defense, all food and everything. And he goes, the settlement is under attack. I'm like, I think they can handle it themselves. And then there's like 800 odd machine gun turrets around. Yeah.
Also, Fallout 4 has a Kingdom of Kingdoms Crystal Skull reference, but I think like New Vegas had that too, like with the fridge. But when you
Well, they
leave
had
Good
an actual,
Springs,
they had an actual like fedora and a skeleton. This is just
yeah.
a kid in a fridge that you rescue, and you got
There's so many references in all the games. I wouldn't be surprised if they did
Oh,
it.
sure, but like this exact reference has already been made in New Vegas, and they have
Yeah.
done it again. That's
so original.
Bethesda is so lame.
I remember I played Fallout 4 when you first get out of the vault and you walk around and there's this diner thing and there's a lady has set up shop there with her kid or whatever.
Oh, and it's
And
full of skeletons still, right?
there's a skeleton on the chair and I'm like, you set up shop here? Didn't you clean up? Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? This is the dumbest setup I've ever seen for a shop. At least the shops in New Vegas look like shops. They have stuff on the walls and
Yes.
No, Smud. You have to understand. You just can't get rid of the skeletons because if you make a settlement, you have to kill people. Say you've got some ghouls, you got to kill them. No matter how far you drag those bodies out of the settlement, when you go back there, the right way you kill them. So obviously they must just be where they spawn. So I've done where is it? I've done Starlight Drive on Fallout 4. I've killed tons of mole rats. My entire settlement is just covered in mole rats. Just carcasses of mole rats 10 foot high. And I'm just like, I can't get rid of these.
Your game lags out because you can't walk because of all the ragdolls that are in the way.
No, don't say that. The game lags because there's a if you want to make provisioners to go between your settlements, they get attacked in the game world, and because they're not actual proper NPCs that are important, they'll die, but their Braymen will still survive, and they'll just randomly run around the map.
Oh
Because you've got
no.
the supply lines, they keep respawning, so you end up with like 600 Brahmin running around the map at one time,
Yeah.
and it'll
Oh,
crash your game.
this is terrible.
Also, like it never stops spawning these fucking cows.
It keeps
Never.
reminding me of that crazy super mutant from New Vegas who goes invisible. And he keeps
Yeah,
killing the cows, and there's
yeah,
a small side quest for you to like hunt down this
yeah.
guy.
What was it the Nightkin?
Nightkin, yes. Oh, that was such an awesome quest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
oh yeah, I found the tweet about the Shady Sense thing.
Mhm.
Gonna get it on the screen.
like I don't,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
here it
understand how
is.
people don't comprehend what this actually means.
So basically, like, there's this picture of that that it happens that it will get nuked eventually, but nothing really
That's what
happens in this date. Like, they are currently like trying to annex Vegas at this time, like Nevada to be more exact, and they are fighting Caesar's Legion. Like, how do
this
they
is.
manage those resources if there was
This
something
is
of a recess?
This is 2277 because I recently looked it up. That's a year after the NCR curb stomps Mojave Brotherhood at Helios 1.
Yes.
And in that battle, they outnumber the Brotherhood 20-1.
that's
So
interesting.
it's,
And the Brotherhood that was outnumbered like that is
Yeah,
still
well,
active in the show.
in the game New Vegas house, if you go that route, I don't know what you can do. He doesn't want you to kill Caesar because he wants Caesar to distract the NCR because he doesn't want them to win over each other. So,
Yes.
but if you do kill him, he's like, "Oh, well, that's fine. I don't care either way." But he does want you to take out the one chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel, which is going to self destruct anyway. It's going
Yes.
to die out, but he just wants it out of the way just to clean up all the variables. Which is like, yeah, they're like the whole Brotherhood of Steel in New Vegas is seen as a joke. Even
well,
the Veronica character you get, she's like, I can't help them. Like I know they're going to die off, and
it's
there's no
because
helping.
on the West Coast, they just were so ideologically like with purity, and they just would not, they're incredibly xenophobic. Like they lost the war to the NCR and got pushed all the way back to the Lost Hills bunker, and that's where they just remain.
Yeah, and Elijah has been going nuts
Yeah,
since Halo 1.
yeah. And then we have the East Coast Brotherhood.
Oh,
The ones in the show are strange. It's just as if they have a bunch of training regiments outside, like a boot camp. I'm like, this is not the Brotherhood of Steel. They're underground. They're always underground. They've always had,
They have
even in
bunkers.
the Brotherhood of Steel safe houses in Fallout
it's
2.
because he doesn't want you to pay taxes.
You can't, we're not going to dig any holes to put actual hide all of our tech in. We're just going to leave it all above ground.
Yeah.
I think the Fallout 4, what was it, the Pridwin or whatever that flying contraption
Pridwin,
was?
yeah.
It was such a visual thing. Oh, we got to put that in the show, and they put it in the show, and I'm like, okay, I guess it didn't get blown up.
How did it get there with stuff? Like
From Boston, yeah, it flew, flew all the way.
It flew all the way. They have plenty. They have abundant resources for oil and all the other.
It went very, very slowly over the course of, was it 8
The
years?
Poseidon oil
9
rig
years.
is still
9 years.
producing as we are speaking.
But that one that got nuked in 2242.
You can't out nuke the oil rig, you see.
My favorite thing is if you actually take all the law of everything, for the timeline of the show to go the way they want it to, people have to use time travel to do it, and it's amazing. Like, so the fall of Shady Sands, they're like, well, Vault-Tec nukes Shady Sands, and I'm like, oh, Vault-Tec.
Vault-Tec.
Yes,
the
Vault-Tec
guys
is the
who were-
one.
Yeah.
What
So
the hell did?
Vault-Tec, the faction that got wiped out 30 years before Fallout 3 somehow managed to reform after 2287, go back in time to 2277 and blow up Shady Sands.
Somehow, Vault-Tec
Somehow.
returned.
I don't remember that ever being a thing. I know that they were contracted by the U.S. government, but that's about.
And
That's
it's
it.
Well,
shadow.
they got
Government.
contracted by the government to build the vaults. Then the Enclave hijacked it and made
Right.
it into Project Safe House to use the experiments to. At first, it was like a multi-generational starship, but then it changed to making technology so that the Enclave could take over what was left of America.
That was a design concept that Tim Kaine actually recently said on his channel about what were the vaults designed to do. And he says, well, originally it was to be how would we survive in deep space when we're traveling? Where would we survive on a planet if we ever did land? We would be in a giant building of some kind or a small building of some kind where we'd all have to live together. So they designed it that way, and it just happened to be sold to the American McCarthyist government in 2060, 70 or whatever to protect against nuclear winter. So
it was 2054 they got
Oh, yeah?
contract or something like that because they didn't start building the vaults until about 2060.
Oh, cool. Like it's such a great idea that just works so well.
It works
And
better than let's build them to make profit, make money in the apocalypse.
But it
there's
does
still,
sound better than hiring Liam Neeson to be your dad.
well, I kind of like that. It was Fallout 3 is a very misunderstood game. It's not perfect, but it's still fun in its own right. But
Oh, sure.
I recall the in the first episode they meet the Vault. There was a Vault 32 people, and she does her thing with her new husband, and she puts on her Pip-Boy, and it detects radiation, and I'm like, don't you have all kinds of like Nuka-Cola containers and
Yeah.
stuff?
Or Red X.
Like everyone's radiated inside the vault. Like who cares if they've got slightly more? Technically, they're further away from Vault 33, so they would have more access to the outside world, and there would be more radiation coming in. So why would that alert? Oh, you're a marauder. It's like how or a raider? Like how do you know that? But it's just like
That is so strange.
there's all these little things. I'm like, you could come to this conclusion. You could, or it's just you should have. Someone would have had a Pip Boy on during this time would have detected radiation. Like that's normal. But apparently she didn't figure that out because she was in her wedding dress and all
Also,
the other.
considering the fact that the overseer should have known who's who, especially since they're all linked up.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's
Oh,
such a
hello,
silly.
hello, man, who I've never seen before in my entire life, who doesn't look anything like any of the people who were in beforehand that we have extensive records on. Yes, come and
Apparently,
have sex with my daughter.
yeah. Apparently they do this every few years. I don't know what the rate is, but they were talking about how one of the other ladies, or because he was from Vault 31, so he came to Vault 33. So they do this every few years. So it's like you must know who everyone is involved. They're all interrelated anyway. But apparently we've never seen these people before. And then if they're going to open the vault, why go through all this rigmarole? Why go through a party? Why just freaking take the guy you need, get the hell out of there, and leave? Like you don't have to cause a like. What's your plan to just eat food and kill people? Why? And there's a scene right at the end where the father has to make a choice between the hostages and his daughter. So he takes his daughter, puts her behind this door in the scene they're in, so she could look out the window of the door. As I said, they tranked him with 3 freaking shots to the head or the back or whatever, which would kill a man. They take him for whatever reason, and then the saboteur lady says, if you're really good at anything, you better start running because they have these bombs set up. And I'm thinking, if they have bombs set up, why did they just bomb the door open? Or like okay, fine, whatever. But why do you have bombs? So
is this door like a vault door?
It's a vault door. It's a big freaking vault door. So I was like, okay.
And they bombed that.
No, they
vault
didn't.
Doors aren't that strong.
They didn't bomb the doors, but they had all these explosive devices. I'm like, what are they using it for? And so they tell the guys to run. They start running, and apparently they survive. So I was like, wait a second. The father made the choice to protect his daughter, but they also let the hostages go. So that means they didn't give a shit about the hostages or the daughter. They just wanted him. So why not just, as soon as they open the door, open fire, except don't kill the father and just take the father? Like, why go through all of this hassle for the facade when you're just going to end up killing them anyway? It's so dumb that why this happened.
It's the intellectual idea of how a plan should come together.
That is exactly the kind of plot that I would expect from the guy who co-wrote Dark Knight Rises.
And the funniest thing is that they're having the party and they're eating like Neanderthals. They're holding the fork like they're clubbing a baby seal. It's like, okay, they got no manners, whatever. What the hell they teach you in Fallout 32?
Manners. Who needs them?
Yeah, and the whole idea of people from the vault is that they're genteel, they're refined, they have high ideals, and they want to better the world. And this is kind of brought up in the last part of the first episode, and the part of the second episode, where Lucy's like, I want to save the world. What we're doing is special. And the shopkeeper's like, you're full of it, lady. You're out of your mind. So I was like, that's good. That's something about her character we could work with. But I want that transition for her to become grizzled wanderer person. And that's the only hope I have for this character, because the Ghoul is like, I'm a badass who can't die. And I have a gun that can penetrate holes into anything. And all right, he's got this immortal Mary Sue walking around with a gun that can't stop. You got Finn, who's really out for. I don't know if you guys ever watched the first episode with
Maximus.
With Maximus, who ends up being a squire. I don't know what happened. I assume he let his knight die, and yeah, he was a dick. But like, you have to save his life. You're his squire.
No, the Brotherhood has an unlimited amount of people.
Apparently not. I don't know.
It just never ends. It never ends. The Brotherhood will never end. Like
the guy's like, swear you're the worst squire ever. It's like why don't you just like, I have this key that's called this magical key called the stim pack that could save your life, because that's what stim packs do. They could do anything. And he's holding on to it. And instead of treating him, he just sits there, and it cuts to the scene to another, it cuts to Lucy or whatever, and it cuts back to him, and he's getting into the armor, and I'm like, there's a whole scene of a man dying that just gets cut out of the whole story that we know nothing about. So did he pull his dead body out of the armor? Did he kill him? Did he shoot him in the head? Like what happened?
He tasted delicious, Rod.
It's just
Oh,
like
he had the cannibalism trait.
can you
Yeah.
imagine if Finn, like in Star Wars, and he's with his co-pilot or his pilot, and he's like, he's the janitor, he's like wiping his shoes, he's treating him
Yes.
like shit, and then he just sits there, watches him die, and like that would be a really creepy scene. Like, holy crap, Finn, you're hardcore.
I just
Jesus.
clearly watched the life drain from his eyes. I'm a
And
good
then
guy,
the
by
next
the
scene,
way.
he gets in the TIE fighter. He's like, I'm the TIE fighter now. I'm awesome. It's like, oh my god, dude, you're a
Let me kill
psychopath.
my friends that I was boycotting before.
Yeah, imagine he killed Ray or watched Ray die. And then he
Oh,
gets the
God,
lightsaber. Oh, his lightsaber is so cool, man. Like, Jesus,
That
Finn.
sounds too interesting.
Don't promise me a good time, Smut.
that kind of that is strange. Like hearing that there might be an even more incompetent Finn, and
I-
Fallout universe of all places.
I think, as I said before, he's just going to be an opportunist because there's no other. Once you go that dark really quickly, really early on, you're like, okay, you're only going to get worse from now on.
Well,
Because-
he's Lucy's love interest anyway, isn't he?
Oh God. Lucy is interested in him because he's acting like a cop, and he's like, stay good citizen, or like he's helping these two guys dispute because one of them is strangling them. And it's like, well, like he picks him up, the guy by the head, and the other guy takes off, and he's like, oh, he's fucking my chickens. It's like, oh,
What?
okay. And then the guy just walks off. So it's just these weird scenes that are made for comedy. And this is during the time that he's prancing around in his armor, and he's like, oh, punching and jumping, and he picks up a piece of concrete and launches it 200 meters away into the water, which is the ocean, which I assume is irradiated. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just showing off. I'm so cool. It's like, dude, are you for? Like the whole plot of how he got the armor was the knight he was with got bored and he wanted to kill stuff, and Maximus is like, but sir, we're like miles and miles away from our target. It's like, and it just so happens the cave they found was exactly where his target was. It just magically they walked upon it. It was hilarious. I'm like, this is so stupid. And then this bear comes out of nowhere, mauls the guy, plays him like a rag doll.
Whatever it is.
The bug. Sorry, I said bugbear. I was thinking of Baldur's Gate, and it's just and it starts clawing steel. I'm like, really? It could claw through steel, through power armor steel. I don't know how strong bears get in the future, but I really doubt that it can go through the chest plate.
That is probably because they originally wanted to use Deathclaw, but they didn't have the budget to do the CGI for that.
Oh, really?
But
They only had hundreds of millions.
it would make sense because, like, think about it, like Deathclaw right there. That would make sense that it can rip through.
I could bet a Deathclaw could do that. Unless you're talking
they
about.
were bred to do that.
I was thinking of one of the DLCs where the Yao guys are really powerful. Like they're pretty much.
The one with Joshua Graham, right?
I don't remember. Probably,
yes,
I don't remember exactly.
You have to do a quest to prove that you're worthy to the tribe.
Yeah, like the Deathclaws are obviously a lot faster and tougher, but they do just as equal amount of damage. They'll kill you instantly if you're not careful.
Yeah, there's a Yao guy in that DLC that is burning, and you're on drugs too.
But this is the great thing about the live action is that you have to adapt it to realistic standards. So guns should be guns, medicine should be medicine. Yeah, have some magic with the stim packs, like it heals wounds quickly, but it's not like a miracle cure for everything. It doesn't stop blood loss or hematosis or any kind of danger to your body. It's just like, oh, okay, I can use my arm again. This cures the dog. The dog got stabbed.
Dog.
The ghoul stabs the dog, and then he's like, okay, what do I do? I'm gonna heal him. He gets up in like 10 seconds and starts looking for his master. So the ghoul uses the dog to sniff out his target. I'm like, okay, so if you get shot, it's the new back to tank from Star Wars. You just dunk a guy in or shoot him up full of stim pack. You just no problem. So the one thing I did like in it was stupid. Then I liked it later. because his gun is so strong, the Ghoul guy, he blows off this guy's leg. His ankle's just shattered, like it's just gone. And he hits another woman, an old woman, also in the ankle. And I thought her ankle shattered as well. Apparently not. So she just gets up and starts walking normally. And I'm like, that's stupid, but fine. And
Oh yeah, I saw that clip.
I
It's just before the Maximus shows up, right?
yeah, because there is a shootout and she gets she gets hit on the ankle. I thought, oh, she lost an ankle too. Apparently not. She's walking and she's supporting the guy who lost the ankle to walk to her shop. And then they have this this metal grinder to attach to his leg to put a robotic foot on his ankle so he could walk. And I thought that's pretty cool because what happens when you lose a limb in this world? Well, they got a solution for that. They got this cybernetic little grinder thing that just eats away at your stub until it locks in place with blades or whatever, and then they screw on this metal foot. So that I thought, hey, that's what you do in an adaptation. You invent stuff to solve a problem to
But the thing is,
constitute.
it's not an adaptation. It's direct canon of the games. It's set in the actual universe of the games.
Yeah.
Right. It should be. Yeah.
But I know that, but the way that people are saying it's an adaptation makes it out that it's its own separate entity, when it's not. They've clearly said, "Oh, this is
Well, I totally understand the argument that it should be based on what it came from, and plus because it's adapted, it has to have something to make it realistic because it is a real live action thing. That's how the medium works.
Oh yeah,
So-
no, I get that, but it's one of the things where if you point out any problems with it, it's like, oh, it's just an adaptation. It's like it's not. It's got to be how things would work in the games has to work in
Yeah. There's
the
some.
show.
There
but
was
in a,
some.
like you say, like in a realistic way.
Yeah, like there's all these scenes that are unrealistic that are just stupid. Like there's a scene with a doctor and he's leaving this science lab or whatever, and this turret with two chain guns, like this robot turret pops out of the ground and it starts shooting at him, and he's running away from the chain gun as it misses him. And I'm like, oh no, the impossible to shoot target that's moving really slow while two chain guns are targeted by a robot. It's like, okay.
Jesus, like I say, with the adaptation argument, I know if it had just been an adaptation like the Halo or the Witcher show, where it's like, oh, we're separate from the game, I could let off with like law breaks and stuff because it's a separate universe. But when they directly say, "Oh yeah, treat this like it's a Fallout 5," it's directly in the game universe. It's continuing the story and everything. It's like, well, then you're going to have to follow the rules and the law. And,
Right. Yeah.
if it happens, you can't just say, "Oh, we can make up stuff now."
Yeah, I know. They could invent like a drug that'd be fine because there's plenty of drugs in the Fallout world. It's like a combination of like what we already know that could work. Like there's all things you could do to adapt it to the scenario.
Have they used jets so far?
They use something like it. There was an inhaler this guy uses. He's one of the raiders, and he gets killed within like 5 seconds. It's kind of funny. But that whole scene is a joke anyway. So I'm like, okay, what's the point? And then it's just to have a gore scenario where he gets crushed by the gate. And you're like, oh, okay, that's funny, I guess. So it's like the whole scene is a joke with the party, and you're like, I don't understand why they're like it's a 30-minute thing with Lucy to introduce her, and I'm like, okay, I mean, this is what you want to do. You want it to be a bloody, frightening scenario with go find your dad, go save your dad plot. It's like fine, set up fair enough, but they could have done that in a much faster way and just as clear. They could have had just a scene with her dad and her, how special this day is, blah, 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 how much she loves each other, and blah, blah, blah. Would have been very heartwarming. And then, boom, the Raiders come in, kill everyone, take the dad, he takes off. And then Lucy has all the motivation in the world to save her dad and to avenge her friends. That would have, fine, that'd been great.
No, Elton should have done, like, just as like getting ready for the wedding, the dad goes, God, I can't believe I retire in 3 days from doing all this work. I get to live a wonderful, fantastic life with no issues whatsoever. And also, did you hear that your sister's pregnant with a newborn baby and she's got a new husband as well? Ah, fantastic. Also, this lottery card. I've not scratched it yet, but hopefully.
That should be the after credits scene.
Like they had this crazy. I don't know why they wanted to do this gory, dumb party that
Because gore is cool.
I
Oh,
did
it-
like. I did like how they had his face. The guy that she cut, like his cheek was all like that. Looked really like, oh my god, that looks freaky. So obviously they're paying the makeup people very well, and I'm glad that people have jobs and all that jazz. But
Well,
the,
the makeup's good because what's his Grogan's Ghoul mask is like proper prosthetics and everything.
Yes.
And
Well,
it looks
after $156 million, I would expect that.
wow for the whole season.
Yes,
Wow,
that's the budget
that is
they open about,
that's crazy.
and apparently it's the most expensive TV show so far
Well, it's
since
8
the
episodes,
last
right?
one.
for 8 episodes. Yes.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
Well,
Well,
I mean, wait. There was Rings of Power. I think that was more expensive, but
What,
Yeah,
billion?
Rings of Power was $1 million a minute. I thought.
yes, and it still looks cheap. But where was I? I was about to ask about the lore, but it's on the tip of my tongue. Damn. I will remember eventually.
Ask me anything about lore. Ask me anything about the Fallout lore. I'm pretty certain I've got the answers.
Oh yeah, I have this image for a while, but I can't have it noticed. Yeah, this one. So it's basically like just some random dude who says that the new Fallout show may or may not be any good, but I'm going to laugh if people complain about faithfulness to the lore. The Fallout lore is silly, guys, and doesn't make much sense. They have retconned it over and over. Don't take it more seriously than the creators did.
What did they retcon?
Well, basically everything about Shady Sands from that.
Well, no, I meant Fallout
Okay.
over the years, not the show. Like he's saying
Over
Fallout
the
Origins.
years, like if
The
I
only
had
thing that
to
stands out
list
is
like the Ghoul one that I have already mentioned,
Jet, the creation of Jet. is the
Jet,
one-
the creation of Jet too. Yeah.
is the only thing that I can remember them actually retconning. Everything else has been pretty consistent.
Oh, that was Fallout 4 that retcon Jet, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it had a whole vault of drug edits.
Yeah.
They were basically using Jet.
That's the only thing that's been retconned that stands out. Whereas the show has retconned pretty much everything.
Yeah, I remember Myron was a major character, not a major character, a companion in Fallout 2,
Mhm.
and he's the guy who invented it, and he was high on his horse because he invented Jet for the Mordinos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think this is more notable. Like this dude is basically one of the staff members for Bethesda, if
Not just
you
a
know
staff
by his
member, one of
name.
the main
And
writers.
he
Jesus Christ.
came up with this random tidbit that hey, the guy you play as in Fallout 4 is actually the soldier from Fallout 1's intro.
Who
like yeah, was
It's
laughing at the
Warcraft.
Canadian civilian getting shot in the head.
for taking over Canada.
And the best thing is that like he walked back this after a day because then he realized that oh no, I made the main character of this game into a war criminal. Okay, guys, he's not a war criminal anymore.
You just make things up as we go along. This is another thing that gets me.
And
everyone
this is the
talks
guy with
about lore.
retcon Jet.
Yeah. People talk about lore, and it's like, oh well, Bethesda, lore is important, but they'll change it for a show, and you're like, right, so lore isn't important, but it is. It isn't, but it is. It's like, just accept that your little headcanon thing doesn't fit anymore, and just move on. Good God.
That reminds me of a stupid little thing when the bear was fighting this knight dude with armor. He's got like a Gauss cannon or whatever, gigantic gun, and he just slaps it away. And then the next scene, when Finn is in the armor, he just forgot about it. He just forgot about this giant piece of tech just lying around that's extremely strong. So I'm like,
but
dude,
how?
I don't know. Maybe he was busted up. He didn't take it. I was like, dude, it's just like you don't like maybe bury it. Do something like you're a Brotherhood of Steel guy. You can't just have tech lying around.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
They're really like anal with tech as well. That's the reason why they had that that massive war with the NCR.
Their whole
You know,
education is to preserve tech, keep it out of the hands of everyone else except for them. And they have this
let
whole not monastic, but I would say it's religious, if not
Mhm.
um not feudal. Like I'm trying to think, it's like knights and squires and all this other
Not
jazz, but they're not
feudal, isn't
really
it?
like
Not
that.
really.
Yeah.
Well, what the one thing that always makes me laugh about it is that's the reason why Elder Lion's East Coast gets cut off from the West Coast because they stop doing that and get called heretics.
No.
But that's the whole point of Fallout 3's Brotherhood of Steel is the fact that they stop just being interested in technology and hoarding it away, and they're actually trying to help people. And like the West Coast are like, well, we do not do that around here, guys. You're cut off.
Yeah, it's
It's like a massive plot point, and you're like, and everyone's like, oh, no, 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 no. It's they've always been interested in helping people and do it. It's like, oh, yeah, shut the fuck up.
But they didn't really play a huge role in Fallout 2, if I remember correctly. Like they were more playing
It's
a major part in the
well,
Fallout 1.
they had a
yeah,
safe house in one of the first towns you go to, and you're like, why can't
Yes.
I enter this door? It's like I don't trust you, blah blah blah. And you're like, okay, whatever.
well, it's part of the decline because obviously the Brotherhood of Steel is one of the major players defeating the Master
They are
in
just
Fallout One.
remnants of the US military.
Yeah, and then they stay on the high horse, and it's the decline, which is why obviously they get into the war with the NCR, and they just seem to think, oh, our superior technology will win this war. And then obviously they get curb stomped by the NCR just being massive and powerful, and it's like obviously them becoming less relevant. And then Bethesda's like, nope, we're going to make these the main guys.
Well, they did like them enough to make a whole game about them that was this. You could choose between turn-based combat or real-time with pause combat, which I thought was a funny thing they were doing in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the idea. Like it's taking a religious slant on we got to stay together as a brotherhood and preserve. But when you get to New Vegas and you talk to the plight of Veronica and her
The
storyline,
Harvey chapter, yeah.
she just wants to get groceries. Like that's her entire
Yes.
thing. Like she just wants to feed her family, and they're running out of food. And like, are you guys stupid? Like, you realize you need to eat and drink, so you need to go out there and go get some stuff and grow some food. And
But they're fanatical with their beliefs, and that's the
yeah,
thing.
but it's so dumb. It's like, what do you think is more important? This crazy philosophy? And you can still do it.
Yes,
You can still believe in all this crazy. We're the champions of the world. We have to have all the tech. Great, fine. We don't care, but at least feed your family. Like that can't be that hard to grasp. But oh, even the new guy, even in that story where you can get the power transferred to the other one of the knights, the elder knight McNamara, or whatever his name was.
hmm yeah,
Uh,
McNamara,
Yes.
yeah.
he allows for more people going out, but they don't change their ways. They don't like, oh, we need more grocery runs. We need more people to research how to grow crops. It's like, yeah, maybe you should focus on sustaining yourself before you die. Like, it's the simplest thing. So
But
that was
that's
kind of the thing with the
But
storyline.
they sent like 3 or 4 paladins to explore like the New Vegas Strip area, and they got bombed by the boomers. Like, how fucking pathetic they are.
It was the boomers as well as some building where they got, was it the there was two locations. You have to
Yes,
find their tags. Oh, there was three of them actually. One of them was in this big pit. Where
big pit full of centaurs.
yeah, the other one's in this building. I can't remember exactly where. And the other one was with the boomers. And you're like, okay, what were they trying to do? They were looking for new tech. It's like, that's great. Who cares? We're hungry and starving and thirsty, and we're running out of power and blah blah blah. Let's go do the thing. So that was the whole joke that was the Brotherhood of Steel in New Vegas for a purpose to showcase that this is a silly group. And when House says they are a silly group, it's like, yes, Mr. House, you are correct. These guys, not all the Brotherhood, but at least this chapter is stupid and they should be destroyed.
Helios one, yeah, like that is probably like the last frontier for them
Oh, probably,
before
yeah.
they are just rolling back to their bunker.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
probably
the Battle of Helios one is from 2274 to 2276, and it's just like the knights are like, we can't hold this position. We're gonna lose. And Elder Elijah is like, nope, we're staying here. We're staying here. I've almost got it fixed. I've been turned off. And it's like, okay, and like they just die and they have to run back to the bunker. But throughout that entire 2 years, they're like, even like the scribes are like, we can't win this battle. We're all gonna die. And it's like, no,
Yeah,
just stay here.
and then he researches like ghosts with experimental internet gas
Oh,
and
God.
unleashing it to New Vegas.
This is why I didn't like I enjoyed it as a game, but the Dead Money DLC where it brings out Elijah as a character.
Yeah,
He's a psycho. He just wants his prize and all this other junk. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're supposed to be the head scribe of a whole chapter that's
yes.
trying to save humanity, and you're like, no, I want money. You're like, what?
Well, it's meant to be the opposite. Because obviously, when they're making New Vegas, a lot of players had just done Fallout 3, so their idea of the Brotherhood comes from that game. So they wanted to show, actually, no, this is what the Brotherhood is. This is why Lion's Brotherhood was so different. And it's like these people on the West Coast, they're insane. Like these guys are not the knights in shining armor. These guys are
Yes.
absolute arseholes who do not know what they're doing, and they are
I
stuck
thi-
in the ways, and they're going to die out.
I think
But,
you can meet
they
with
actually they
the
take over the
founding
NCR.
member in Fallout 1, but other than that, like they just go insane.
But in the
Oh.
Fallout show, the NCR take over. No, the Brotherhood take over some of the NCR.
Wow.
The guys who
That's
got
being
our
wiped
number
out.
22-1.
That would explain why they have these outdoor boot camp style barracks.
Yeah, but where do they get people from? Because it's like this is why it always annoys me with people trying to explain stuff. People are saying, "Oh well, the Brotherhood just got new recruits and they got refounded and all this." It's like that's not how the West Coast Brotherhood works.
Yeah.
They do not take in new recruits.
The
You've got to be born into it.
the night that Maximus is, I think his name is Titus. Like, he's a jerk. Like, he's just scaredy cat. He's all high and mighty. He has a bloodlust. Like, you don't know anything about this guy aside from his few lines, but he's
Why,
so
isn't he?
like he doesn't care. He doesn't like anyone. He just wants to kill people, and then he gets mauled by a bear, and then he dies. And you're like, what was that? Like, this is a horrible example of a knight where Maximus is trying to be nice and do his job and support him, and he's like, go in the cave and find whatever's there. It's like, I don't have any power armor, sir. It's like, just do it. It's like, okay. It's like,
What
geez, this
the
guy's
fuck?
this guy's a horrible person. And then there's a bear right behind the knight, and he's like, oh shit. He's fuck. He's just
He falls
swearing.
over, doesn't he?
He's just swearing and getting mauled, and Maximus is like, what am I gonna do? Like, he's totally scared. And then the knight eventually Maximus shoots him in the head and stops the bear. And it was like, why did you help me? And we don't know. Like, we're trying to figure out what's going through Maximus's brain. And all I can figure out is Maximus is an opportunist.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the armor for himself. We don't know why. And the next scene he gets it, and I'm like, I don't get, like, what is up with this character? Why is he so evil? Why does he not give a shit? Like, in the scene where he's with one of his friends, like, everyone doesn't like Maximus for whatever reason. There's no explanation really. At the boot camp or whatever the freaking.
Well, he's black. That's why. Come on.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It makes no sense. Anyway, he has this friend, which I thought was a girl, but it was actually a guy. Okay, whatever. He gets promoted to be a squire. Someone puts razor blades in her boots, so the next morning he puts them on. Her whole leg is cut up. They think it's Maximus. Maximus gets sent to the guy to say, "Did you do this?" And they interrogate him. And they end up choosing him to go be a squire because they were neck and neck, whatever. So he's like, great. Because he was saying, oh, wouldn't you be so prestigious in being a squire? Wouldn't you be jealous? He's like, yeah, I am jealous, but I didn't do it. And that's right. He didn't do it. but he still felt jealous, and he was like he was digging into the trees, and he was like banging the toilet seat because he didn't get it, because he had to vent his frustrations because his friend got the promotion and he didn't. So it's like, okay, there's something going on with this guy, but we don't know why he's so frustrated. He's like, I don't know, 28, 30 or something. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh,
Why would he be?
It's like, it's a big mystery. So I'm like, what is his you can't just have characters who are frustrated and angry because their friend gets something good, and it's like they're fighting over a toy or something. No, you're a brotherhood.
you know what's great? People, you just said about the guy being about 28, 30. There's people who say he's actually only 20 in the show.
No way.
Yeah, they say his age is 20.
I mean, he could be. He doesn't look 20.
No, you look at pictures of him, it's like the actor's in his 30s, and it's like
it looks 30.
Shows, and it's like, oh no, the character's only like 20, and I'm like, okay.
You mean Lucy?
No,
Well,
the Maximus.
They do this with they do this with soap operas. They do this Smallville, like all these characters that are
I get
late
that,
20s.
But the issue is the fact that he doesn't look. You can pull it off a little bit, but not with this.
Yeah, no, they do flashbacks of him as a boy, and he's smiling at the power armor guy who saved his life or whatever. And you're like, okay, he wants to be a knight.
Watch his Shady Sands get nuked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happens during the show?
Yeah. As a young boy, he sees it happen, and the time frame of it being 27/7 lines up with his age.
You know what? I think like Maximus should have been played by Lister from Red Dwarf.
What, Craig Charles? What, in his 60s?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Put him in the armor.
Yeah,
make him scream smack.
Do you want to show Smud that scene of the meeting?
I don't know if I can show the video, but I can show a screenshot, which will destroy his hopes and dreams.
Oh no, what's that?
It's Mr. House.
Oh really? Mm-hmm. That's a thicker mustache than I thought, but okay.
So there's the line.
There's a lot of earning potential with if they could get the delivery right, like Rene Auberjois did, if they can even mirror that, I'd be very impressed.
No. Not at all.
Like whenever you think of Odo, I think of Mr. House. Like just boom, pops in my head. And the way he talks and all his plans and all his
wait, those two are the same actors?
Let's nuke the world. What?
That's basically him.
Yeah, if you guys remember what he did, like he had lasers on the top of his casino, stopping the nukes from hitting Las Vegas, and he didn't get them all.
He predicted when the bombs would fall, but he was 20 hours wrong.
He was off by a day for getting the platinum chip, but everything else he did was amazing. Like this guy is a genius. He's a super billionaire. He's going to save the world. And everyone's like, oh, he's a horrible megalomaniac. It's like he's in a jar. He has no ambitions outside of what he wants to see the world heal. And you cannot change him. You cannot corrupt him. He's just a guy who wants to put people on the moon in 10 years. Yeah, the guy with all the resources who's saving everyone in a veritable Las Vegas, and not just the desert, but the wasteland. You listen to the guy. You might have some insight into keeping alive.
The thing with House is this. As bad as anyone tries to make out, he did the only good deed the corrupt USA, achieved and saved people. He's allowed to reap the benefits.
Yeah, this is everyone compares him to Andrew Ryan, and Andrew Ryan was undone by his enemies, not because he was wrong. It's because the people around him took advantage of him. In House, no one can take advantage of him. You can't bet against him. You can't. Like, he's got all the military power. He's got all the resources, all the power, the electrical power. He's got all the water. He's got all the money. He's got his own veritable army that's being constantly recycled and rebuilt. Like he is the best operator. And he's always succeeded outside of the platinum chip being off by a day because
Yeah,
the NCR is corrupt. The Legion is insane. Like, forget about the Legion. And Yes Man is just anarchy. Yes Man just wants to, like, oh, whatever, who cares? So
oh
no,
boy,
I'll take the
that's your right
guy.
killing.
I'll take the guy who's a veritable emperor who for the people, not for himself, because he doesn't need money. He has no worldly desires. He can't be corrupted, and he already has all the security you need to keep everyone away.
By the way, I
Well,
found the scene.
mhm,
Oh wow!
Is everyone ready?
No.
yeah.
Here's my problem with the vaults. You can find a bunch of rats in a nest for a long time. They end up eating each other. So who's to say your rats are going to survive better than those animals on the surface?
Okay, that is not Mr. House. That's like a
Yes.
it's like an Iron Man wannabe. I don't know what.
Yeah, he does sound like a budget Tony Stark to me as well.
Yeah.
You've got to show the bit where they actually admit that they're going to drop the bombs first.
Oh, just the moment I want to take the steps because Amazon is very trigger happy about this.
Oh,
Okay, just
of competition that made our companies.
It's a fun idea. There's a lot of earning potential with the end of the world. But we're talking about making a significant investment based on a hypothetical.
I'm gonna look for the other scene, but basically he just said the line, so it's not just a meme.
I've got the link, haven't I? It's shared on Discord.
Yeah, I'm gonna load just one.
Yeah. It's so like it's insane watching it because they're literally talking about doing all these experiments to make money. And you're like, with who? With what? It's like one person talks, oh, we're going to invent a robot that can deliver stuff to your door. It's like there's nothing left after the nuclear bombs have fallen. Who are you delivering stuff to?
Oh, they want post apocalypse Amazon. Is that what they want?
Yeah, postal.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, right. Okay, so we'll destroy the world. Yeah, then what we'll do is have this robot that can deliver cupcakes to people's doors. I'm like, right? It's just one small problem with your plan there. There's no doors to deliver to.
Oh dear.
Oh, thank God, I'm starving to death in the wasteland. But this robot's brought a cupcake to me and my charred family's remains. Thanks, Robco.
Oh dear. Yeah, there was a scene of Lucy finally gets out of the vault and she explores for the first time, and she encounters a house and she just sees the dinner table, and she sees the vault tech poison on the table, where all the baby and the mother died or whatever, and she figures out, oh, they obviously took poison to prevent suffering from the nuclear fallout.
Yeah.
Which it's like, oh Jesus, like that's something that we never visually saw that I recall in because you see all the buildings you go through in the Fallout games, and you find all this junk everywhere, and you're not sure what it is. But there was no specific bottle of poison that you could say, okay, they obviously killed themselves off here. There's drugs all over. There's all kinds of drugs they could have killed themselves with, I'm sure. But this is specifically like going to kill you.
You see, like people holding guns. Obviously, you show that they've shot themselves in the head.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even there's one scene with this doctor guy. I don't even know what the hell his story. They introduce a character and they kill him off the next episode. What the hell this guy is about?
What was his name?
They never said his name. They never mentioned his name. I don't know.
There is a doctor character who's part of a enclave.
Oh really? I don't know.
Mysterious stranger.
But he says that Vault-Tec made a very great cyanide pill. It's banana flavor. I don't know why it wasn't so popular. It was like a funny little joke. It was a funny little joke. Like, that's a great joke. And then it takes him like 30 seconds to die. I'm like, okay, this is cyanide. This would happen really, really quickly.
That would be very quick, yeah. Meantime, while I have loaded the clip.
Yeah, that's a lot.
All right.
A significant investment based on a hypothetical. How can you guarantee results?
By dropping the bomb ourselves.
Yeah.
So he didn't calculate it. He just knew it was going to happen.
And he was still out. And also, Vault-Tec dropped the bombs, but still failed to finish all the vaults
Why would Vault-Tec drop the bombs again?
to make profit.
That doesn't make any sense with the
Capitalism
scenario.
bad.
Drop
Capitalism
the bombs
is
when the
bad.
capitalism fall.
The whole point of Fallout was everyone in the world ran out of resources and had a war. And the war was so big it blew up the world. Not because one company thought, let's make money by slaughtering everyone. That'll really raise profits next term. Like, what are you? That's
Hey, listen.
insane.
If you kill everybody, unemployment goes down. Technically, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Vote for Hawk 2024.
Maybe you have been watching too much British politics, Mark.
It makes no sense. And people, you know, the best part about it is when you start bringing up that scene, people say they never said that Vault-Tec dropped the bombs first.
They didn't have to. They had an intro every time where Ron Perlman says, war never changes. It's always the same, yada, yada. The war blew
Oh.
itself up.
You know, later on in that same scene, that woman says, war never changes. Anyway, back to capitalism.
I'm gonna get it back. Oh, no.
As much as I dislike Ron Perlman these days, just hire him to do the job he's known for and just get him in the show for the...
What, plays Hellboy?
Well, I mean, that's good too, and sometimes, but you know, just, he has one. All he's done is that one line at the beginning and ending of. Actually, no, he's known for the ending credits as well. So, yeah, just
£13 million each time he says that.
Have them be a narrator. I don't care. Just get him, make it feel authentic. That would make me very happy. If you can get the narrator from any show, that's the guy that everyone knows. Use him. And then you already got me halfway there because I'm already feeling good.
I love the interview that he did. Someone at a convention asked him that, like, "Oh, what do you think about Fallout?" And all he had to say is like, "Well, I never played it." And then said, like, "Oh, how come you never played it?" "Oh, I don't even know how to play a game." And that he tells everyone that he has solitaire on his phone.
Oh.
Yes. But yeah, well, here's the line.
War never changes.
So war never changes. Therefore, a corporation is going to nuke the world.
Yes.
What?
For profit.
For profit. There's a lot of earning potentials in the end of the world, Smud.
What does a corporation have to do with war unless they're making weapons? They're not making weapons. They're making safe houses.
People are saying,
this is like such a clown shit. Like, how does the Enclave fit into all of this?
Those were the Enclave, supposedly, because the Enclave are just businessmen.
Oh, so they're masquerading as Vault-Tec people.
It's so lame.
Yeah, but the thing is that now people are now making a headcanon that Enclave weren't connected to the US government.
What? No.
Yes. Yes, they are.
What are they connected to?
Vault-Tec. Vault-Tec owns the Enclave.
So they just made the Enclave.
Yeah.
How?
The Enclave is just the puppet face for Vault-Tec, you see.
I am very confused.
So Vault-Tec, in the show, Vault-Tec's pretty much created the Enclave to make profit from the vaults. Whereas in the games, which this show is supposedly part of, the Enclave is like the remnants of the US government, because the sitting president in 2077 is the leader of the Enclave. But who cares about law? Because they said the line in the.
So 2770, the Enclave is already a thing.
Yes, like it follows the lore. You see,
it's the Enclave existed before the Great War. It was the shadow government.
I didn't know they called themselves the Enclave. I just thought it was a bunch of. Okay.
Yeah, they call themselves the Enclave, and obviously they. Because what happened with it is the president, I think it's like 6 or 7 days before the Great War happens, moves all his staff and everyone who's part of the Enclave to the Poseidon oil rig. So bunker down so they can continue the war against China after the bombs get dropped. And then they decide to become like the obviously they say the continuation
Well,
of the US government.
hopefully they won't touch, or they're not smart enough to touch the Old World Blues DLC if they've already screwed up.
Yeah.
Well,
the
they
guy,
have the big mountain guy.
Oh, you're
speak.
Adaptation,
you're not
Yes,
what?
he's in there.
They
Yeah,
have
he,
no.
because it's Sinclair Big Mount, right?
yeah.
Like
I
it's the same guy who did Sierra Casino.
Yeah.
Sierra Madre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sierra Madre. Yeah. I'm gonna pull up that clip again.
They are. Oh God.
Yeah. Supposedly all these people knew about it, even though the games is like no one knew the war was going to happen then.
Old World Blues is one of the best DLCs I've ever played, and they have that in the show.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's gonna be episode 8, by the way, Spawn. Episode 8.
They're gonna have a
watch
brain.
the full
They're gonna
show.
have. They're gonna have one of those 5 brains in a jar, and they're gonna be prattling on about Robo Scorpions or whatever.
God, I hope so. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I hope so. And they're gonna have the voice
Hope so.
actors too.
The Big Sink and all the other. Oh my God,
Could
that's
you
gonna be.
imagine? It's gonna be amazing. Season 2 of this show is just like an hour of that toaster
Remember?
shouting.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
see, that would be cool. But remember when you watched the crazy, weird episodes of Voyager where Tom Paris had those silly black and white episodes? They were so like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? And now we're going to be doing the silliest, goofiest part of.
You should. But the thing is, you've got to listen to some of the. They're like, oh, we need to have some money, and one of them goes, maybe we can make a super mutants with illegal immigrants.
But yeah,
No word of a lie. They literally. It's also the Asian guy saying that.
Oh, that's nice.
But you see, Smart Big Mountain. It's right here,
Oh no!
and he's about to talk as well.
Let's call this what it is, bud. Your sales aren't up to snuff, and you need money.
So one of the richest people in this country at that time, or even in the globe, if we could go that far, is just saying like, "Oh, you need money." Mr. House of all people needs money for what?
Mark, you're gonna have to skip to the part where they're making up the ideas for using the bolts.
Oh, just a moment.
You're one to talk, Freddy boy. You could lose money running a casino. Even if you outlive all external threats.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the clip in the meantime.
So it's just when you actually hear it, and they're saying all these things. It's like, oh, it's callbacks to different bolts in the games. It's like, yeah, but now that you're saying they're doing it for profit, it makes no sense them doing this.
So I'm assuming that's not Dr. Klein or Sinclair. Like, who the hell could that be? Just some guy.
It is. I think it is Sinclair, but they just.
It is Sinclair. Like the big fat guy is Sinclair.
Oh.
But I felt like he would be more charming because, like, from the Dead Money DLC, like it makes it sound like he's some kind of dude in his 30s.
Yeah, he was. He was this not old, but not young. He was middle-aged.
Middle-aged, yes. Because like the woman who gets stuck in that hotel,
Vera,
yeah, and like she really makes it out to be that like he was charming enough for her to stay there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wasn't.
It wasn't just the money.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, okay, fine. Age not a big deal, right? They're just introducing the character, right? Could be anything. We don't know yet.
Here's the clip.
Ideas. We need your ideas. Because it was the spirit of competition that made our companies great. And I propose we bring that same spirit of competition to our solution.
What kind of spirit?
We have over 100 vaults where you can play out your own ideas for how to create. And may the best idea win.
Made the best idea.
So
This sounds like a game show.
are they saying that these guys on the board are now going to institute various
They-
social programs?
It's implying that these guys are the ones who invented the calf torches that they have in the walls. Yes.
So so what's the point of these tests then? Like, what are they trying to do?
Make money.
What?
Yes.
No.
We could intentionally overcrowd a vault so people have to compete to survive inside it.
Yeah, we have been developing a robot that delivers milk to the front door. It's quite intelligent. I would like to see a vault governed by it.
What about
Yeah, but why? What do you need a
Profit.
vault for?
Profit.
You just do you don't need a vault to experiment with these stupid ideas.
The profit. Because the only way they can make profit is blowing up the world.
If you
Because that's
have
how
a
capitalism works.
flying robot that delivers anything, you don't need a vault to do that. If you have
It delivers milk to the front door. I want to see it torture 1,000 people. Why? Money, of course.
I want to see how people work under pressure when there's limited resources. Well, first we got to blow up the world, and you're like, what? No.
There was that insane vault in New Vegas where every president that got elected for that overseer that was elected for that vault had to be executed. Like he had to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then only like 4 or 5 people remained, and then they said like they are not playing along anymore, and
13
that was the
people.
solution.
Yeah, 13 people survived. 12 committed suicide, and the last person just walked into the wasteland to die.
Yeah,
My
that
thing is this,
was
right?
insane.
They talk about making profit. How does that vault with like 999 women and 1 man make profit or make any money?
Is that the vault for Andrew Tate?
Is that before and after they started using caps as a currency? Like, this is like, if you want to make money.
This is like the 21st century.
Yeah, I mean, once we wait until after the destruction of civilization, there's no need for paper money anymore. How does that work? Who's the bank?
Beats
Who's issuing a security?
Smart.
using
You're
a vault
thinking-
to develop a super mutant soldier, using illegal immigrants?
What do you need a vault for? What are you talking about?
Walter Gordon's face is exactly my face when I heard that for the first time. Like, what? This is weird.
We could have a dog and pony show in a vault. Whoa! Like, you could put bread and circuses in a vault too. What's your point?
Who's gonna pay for it? I don't know.
The immigrants.
Like to drop the drugs into the air supply.
We could separate parents and children, and only the smartest kids reach adulthood.
Why?
How would they pay for you?
How would that turn a profit? What's the end goal there?
It's making money. This is how you know that. Because Amazon and everything's like just run by fucking communists. They have no idea how business works.
This
They're
is
just like, well, obviously, we just kill everybody, makes money.
this is random experimentation on people, and there's no business model. There's no goal. If we succeed, where's the profit? If we fail, where's the profit? Like, what are you doing? You're just killing people.
Make the Mexicans be super mutants.
I can't believe that the line. Let's make super mutant soldiers out of illegal immigrants. Yeah, let's also just look to fight who? You've nuked the world.
Nuke the world.
The war's over. What?
It's a fun idea. There's a lot of earning potential with.
It's a fun idea. Oh.
Now, if it was House, he might be able to see the profit because he's super genius. But I mean, you're dealing with a bunch of psychos in the room.
A nuclear event would be a tragedy, but also an opportunity.
This show. How could anyone look me straight in the eye and go, "God, this show is so good"?
This is so she's basically a war profiteer, and she's being rational about the bottom line, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's a difference
how?
There's a difference between war profiteering and destroying the world.
How
How can
are you-
anyone say this with a straight face?
How are you going to make money when you blow up all the banks? Like, what's the plan? Like, I get if you want to like have all the gold or have all the resources, then you blow them all up or you irradiate them. Okay, great. You have all the
Yeah.
good resources that no one else has. Your price skyrockets. I get it. But if you blow up the banks and the marketplaces where you trade the resources, who's going to physically walk up to your door and give you what? Bread for gold? Like, what are you doing?
It's like I said, we're inventing a robot that delivers milk to the front door. Okay,
Let's make it the overseer.
so let's blow up the world so we can make one robot the overseer because it'll make us money. It's like, how does that make you money? How?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a good month just watching this episode and trying to wrap my brain. Like everything everyone says, I'll just be pausing and making a comment, like 2 paragraphs. Like, this is dumb.
Perhaps the greatest opportunity in history, because when we are the only ones left, there will be no one to fight.
Are you what? If there's no one left to fight, who are you going to trade with? Each other? Hey guys, we're the last remaining people on the planet. We're going to make so much money. It's like, wait, lady, you just said.
I think like they are trying to bully House so he can also go to
all
the other
the
casinos.
He's got all the money. Yeah.
He's got the. It's like playing Monopoly. And
Well, he does have lasers on his rooftop, so they're kind of scared of this guy if they try to do anything to him. He's like, yeah, come at me, honey. Let's see what you. Nuclear bombs, no problem. Let's do it.
robots, no problem.
Robots? I don't know anything about robots. What are you talking about?
I just love the fact that they're like, yeah, when we've wiped everyone out, there'll be no one left to fight. No one left to fight. It's like we don't have to do anything, pal. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Okay, oh man,
A
like
true monopoly.
A true monopoly on what? How? With whom? What are you selling? What are you
Intentional
buying?
guidance. We have friction. We have conflict, and we have war.
Okay.
And then she says like war.
Yeah.
War never changes.
Yeah. All right. I think I've seen enough. That was
Yes.
pretty terrifying.
That was the scene. Yeah.
I don't mind.
The last glimpse that you see in the TV show is basically New Vegas.
Okay,
It
well,
ruined
I don't mind clandestine groups doing dastardly evil things that sound psychopathic. That's great. Guess what? They have to be logical because that's how psychopaths operate. They're not emotional lunatics that just go around slaughtering everyone in the most upstanding ways. No, they just think things through, and they're
Yeah,
real.
this just puts Patrick Bateman to shame.
At least like there was a story to follow. This is like, I'm a bunch of psychopaths in a room. I don't know if House is a psychopath. Maybe he could be. He's smart enough to hang around with him, but maybe he's playing a game just to not get himself killed. But House would be like, okay, I'm going to go for a smoke break. Talk to you guys later, and never come back. And he just start the war machine himself. Okay, got to get like another 20,000 lasers on all my property. I'm going to start this platinum chip thing going now. He's going to go crazy.
In fact, let's do this platinum chip thing yesterday.
He's gonna start like killing, like assassinating all these people in their sleep. Like, he's not gonna sit around just like, all right, well, a bunch of lunatics want to take over the world. I'll just keep, making money at my casinos. Like, no.
The world. It's like taking the world. They're going to take over 122 vaults where they've tortured 1,000 odd people in each vault for no reason. It's like, oh, we control everything. It's like, right, you control nothing. This is insane. A more logical thing would be, God, we could use our resources to stop China bombing the USA. And we could probably be able to bomb China without any repercussion. That way we could have a complete monopoly over this.
Apparently, like there isn't like
Well-
any mention of China bombing anyone,
Oh, yeah,
or even about China.
Yeah.
I guess they wanted to make it peaceful.
Yeah, if they wanted to do specific arguments, like remember in New Vegas, Vault 22 was the vault that had all the growth of vegetables and all kinds of like mushrooms and big.
Oh yeah, the overgrowth. Yeah,
Yeah.
the virus. Yes.
Yeah. So that would be like, okay, we want to accelerate something in a way that we want no one to find out about because it's unethical, and we'll see what happens. Like that's a thing, because you're thinking, okay, I'm going to mass produce resources, and people are going to live there and live their lives underground, and they're going to have this farming culture, and everything's going to be awesome, and we're going to just pump out these super fruits or whatever. Great. That could make some money. I mean, it's not much money. We're talking about agriculture. So it's going to be an experiment, which is totally fine. And then they're going to take that recipe and they're going to mass produce it. That could make some money. That could make some sense. You know?
It would make money because they haven't destroyed the whole world. It would make money useless.
Yeah, I know. So like, if they want to do, like, maybe this is a scene where everyone's like brainstorming on how to make money in a certain way, but this psycho chick is like, well, we're going to kill everyone. It's like, honey.
Yeah, but they all agree with him. They all agree with her. They're like, yeah, this is a great idea. We should do it. We're all on board.
Yeah.
But if you bring this scene up as like evidence of like, listen, this is how the show was just gone off the rails.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been told on Twitter that no, this scene doesn't even exist. They don't say that they're going to drop the bomb first. I'm like,
yeah, I don't think revealing the premise, like, imagine there was a, I don't remember, was it Fallout 76, which is the prequel that happens
Fallout
before everything?
76 is I think it plays in the northern part of
like the earliest,
the Appalachian Mountains. Yes, it's set
yeah,
in
the
21.
earliest in the timelines. Like, if there was a prequel where it explains why the bombs fell, like, that just kind of ruins the whole point of the scenario, because the whole point of Fallout is you're in the wasteland. You don't care what, like, this is not like a Japanese anime or a Japanese RPG where you're trying to find the secret of the world, the way the world is. That's not the point of these games or these stories. It's not to correct the big mistake of your ancestors. It's to live and survive and to get by and to work together with factions that you agree or disagree with. That's Fallout. It happens to be in a very fun, in a very nuanced world of comedy and drama and dark comedy and just crazy things sometimes happening. That's ironic and silly and sad. We don't need to know that there was these psychopaths like in Deus Ex that want to control the world, like the Illuminati.
Yes.
We don't need to know that. We have factions like the Big MT and the Enclave. Like, those are good enough. We don't need anything. We don't need, like, if you want to invent another organization like a shadow government, or sure, fine, like Chinese, like they could make the Fallout universe extend to outside of the West. That'd be great. I think that'd be cool.
Outside of America would be half decent. I mean, what happens to the rest of the world?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I'd love to see what happened to Africa. That'd be bizarre.
Nothing changes.
Yeah, it's just there. Everyone's fine. They're mutated, like, yeah, whatever.
It looks the same. It's the same for Australia.
Australia's like, yeah, it's just.
After numerous nuclear bombardments, Africa actually improved significantly.
Can you imagine Australia having even bigger creatures?
Oh, can you imagine
No. Now the
giant
natives are also like that.
Also giants.
Can you imagine that? Like, like an American goes over, I fought Deathclaws, and like he's ripped to pieces by a giant mutated koala bear. You're like, Jesus fucking Christ!
They're like eating the trees. They're not climbing on them. Like,
just turns to him and go, put a shrimp on the barbie, mate. And as it chews through his sternum and everything, you're like, Spiders the size of mountains.
That would be a brand new style of Fallout. That you imagine the Brotherhood of Steel, like, we got to use our technology now. It's like, why? To make sure the human race survives from these giant creatures that we've created.
You could have like a nuclear powered boomerang.
You could do a Fallout Helldivers where you have to kill all the giant mutated whatever in Australia.
Oh my god, like giant muted kangaroos. They are stomping you. It's like Godzilla is just jumping around.
You have these Gauss rifles just ripping right through this giant monster that just keeps walking at you. Like, oh no.
You know who would be right at home in that? Mad Max.
Yeah.
Oh, the boomerang. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Well, yes.
Mad Max. God, what a great movie.
There was only 2 of them.
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, like I say, people are now like trying to gaslight everyone about this whole show, and this is how you know. Like we speak about this earlier, weren't we, Mark? It's been decided this is the one good show of 2024,
Yes.
and they're now just sticking with it. You can't complain about it.
That is like kind of funny because like even Critical Drinker has said that like, oh well, this is a blast. It's a joke not intended, but
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense because like the review itself that I've watched from him is just so surface level. It
Yeah.
tells you about things that you can read on the IMDb page. And I know that he doesn't really edit his videos because all he does is just a compilation video from someone else. There was one time when I noticed that like, oh wait, there's like a YouTube logo in the corner. Why would he put that there? That's a different channel. Oh, I see.
Yeah. If you don't think about this show and you just see the action and you see the drama and you're like, oh, this is entertainment, you're gonna enjoy the show. But the people who watch shows like this, every post-apocalyptic story I've ever read or watched is not just about the glitz and the glamour. It's about, well, if there's glamour in the post-apocalyptic world, I don't know what there is, but it's always about some sort of theme of survival or irony or some little jewel that you find in the middle of all this rubble that you have to see as precious and sacred. There's all kinds of those stories, even in anime. So I'm like, what are we looking for in this show aside from goofy violence and a quest? There's got to be more to it. So when we play Fallout, or when I play Fallout, there's all these wonderful characters. There's all this grime and muck and violence, and that's just the method to get to where your father is, or your son is, or to save your tribe, or whatever. There's some goal, and when you get to the end of the story, that tells you all the things you've done and what has happened as a result. That's why the story of the courier is so over the top, even though what you do is nothing over the top outside of Hoover Dam might be over the top, I guess, but there's nothing magical about it. It's just a dam. You saved it for one faction, and that's it. It happens to be a very defining moment in history for that story, and that's why it works so well. The courier is like this unstoppable force that everyone looks up to. Like, oh my god, he's a legend. Like, imagine the courier in this story going up against the Ghoul. He'd die.
He would die.
The Ghoul would just tear him apart.
Because that Ghoul is pretty much just a cat's door with a human body.
With a gun that rips through it. It's like what? He can't die. He doesn't eat. He doesn't drink. Like, he can eat. He eats. Apparently, they found there's chickens in the show. Didn't know that. And there's cherry tomatoes.
And they are not mutated?
Well, the Ghoul was eating cherry tomatoes, and I was like, oh, so they have tomato. You know how hard it is to grow tomatoes? So they got cherry tomatoes with enough water and.
They don't have tomatoes in Fallout 4. They have a mutated version.
Oh yeah, okay.
This is an issue because in Fallout 4, because you got the settlement mechanic, you can plant crops to feed everybody. So it shows you what people farm. So when they use normal food, you're like, that's not happens in the games. And the issue comes it stems again from the fact that this isn't just an adaptation that you can separate. The developers and writers have said, yeah, this is part of the game lore. This is in the game universe. So the adaptation argument is well, you just making mistakes here willingly.
I was still confused with the Vault 33 and 32. There's corn growing out of the ground, and I'm like, okay, is this outside? Is this they put the ground on the vault, and then they had the projector to make it look like it's sunshine, and then
trick the corn into thinking this picture of the sun is real. It'll grow.
Well, when we're in some of the vaults in New Vegas, for example, you go to some of the science parts of the vaults, and they have corn or whatever growing out of these potted sections, but they're just like, a few meters long. They're not that big. This is like corn growing for fields. And then you go to Vault 32 and the kid sees corn there as well. And you're like, oh, there's more, even though it's been there for, years and it's all decrepit and whatever. So they're growing corn underground.
Yeah,
That makes sense. God, I love
totally
Fallout.
makes sense.
Why not?
The whole thing. They should have just made this a separate entity from the games. They shouldn't have tried to make it connected to the games. And
Like,
to be honest with you, if they weren't willing to actually do it correctly, they should have just made it a different show.
Like somehow I don't understand. Like every single Bethesda Fallout has probably been taking place in the East Coast because they just didn't had any good ideas how to approach like the existing lore.
Yeah.
So it's probably why they have hired those Obsidian guys, because they had some of the original creators who knew the lore and how to connect the story. Because I don't really remember anyone who was complaining during the release of New Vegas that like, oh god, that this continuation is such garbage. Yeah, everyone was so full on about the game. It was just such a great sequel, and it didn't felt like it had to take place in the same map that the previous Fallout games introduced. Like, and TV show could have taken place somewhere else in the US, like maybe Florida. I don't know.
If they love the Brotherhood so much, why don't you go to the Midwest? Because the Midwestern Brotherhood chapter are like insane. Like got chainsaws attached to like plasma rifles and stuff.
Yeah.
They've got like attached like Deathclaw horn to their helmets and stuff, look like Vikings and everything. It's like just mad.
Yeah.
Like, why not do that? No, just do the West Coast and just like make them the generic Brotherhood from the East Coast again. Like, oh wow, glad we did that. Glad we waited all these years for that.
Such a waste of time.
But no, the thing is, if you enjoy this show, that's great. But don't try and gaslight people into like saying there's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, there's all these. I'm not even talking about the lore, but just the logic of the characters and events. Like already, I'm like this entire scene with the 30 minutes start of the slaughter of the Vault 33. I'm like, this did not have to happen the way it did.
Another thing that always surprised people is obviously that black woman is the Ghoul's wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and obviously she knows when the bombs are dropping. Yet him and their daughter are still outside.
Yeah, they're divorced. The whole thing in the intro, the 7 minutes, was him he was the cowboy performing for the kids to, whatever the guy's birthday. Yeah, he was just putting on a show, like riding his horse and playing with his lasso. So the other men are like, why is John or whatever his name is doing this? It's like alimony. Like, oh, all right. So
but the thing is, she drops the bomb and kills a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's gonna happen. And then they're like, oh well, that's obviously shows that she didn't know when the bombs were being dropped because she would never have allowed her kid to die. I'm like, she's the one who made the plan. She's the one that brought all these business people together to make the plan to drop the bombs first. Oh no, she didn't. It's like, are you just trying to gaslight me now? Because I've watched the scenes, I've watched what the show was saying. What was it? Okay. Oh, just talk about obviously reviews about this TV show. One person said, "What was it? The female main character is one of his most favorite TV show characters, even though he can't remember her name."
Okay.
It's like, oh, she's such an amazing character. I don't remember her name. I love this show. Please
Oh,
give me
this
money,
this
Amazon.
character looks amazing. Oh, the name? I don't know.
It's like, oh, right, okay. But you must have loved it if you can't remember Lucy's name.
Such memorable character with the gigantic eyes.
Like, none of the reviews I've seen where people say they enjoyed the show go into any detail about why they enjoyed it beyond, oh, it's fun.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
right,
I got
okay.
Miracle of Sound. I can't remember what he said. The guys that does all the music videos
Sound,
of
yeah.
video games.
Yeah.
He says, "What's the next?" Someone was making a comment. What's the next live action adaptation that should happen? He said Mass Effect, because Fallout and
The Last
Last of Us were so good. And I was like, are you serious? Is it opposites day?" And then he replied back with this retard animated GIF thing, and I'm like, okay, this guy is not
serious now.
not worth talking to.
This is the, like we talked about. This is the show of, like, The Last of Us was a show of 2023. No one talks about it now. No one even talked about it a month after it finished. But it was the greatest thing that was ever made.
Didn't ever get an Oscar as well?
I can't remember.
Maybe for like lighting or some sort of like
I think
technical thing, but not
Yes.
storytelling. Maybe I don't remember.
But the thing is, it's like it got completely. No one talks about it now. There's not like YouTube.
Nobody.
channels
It
dedicated
has
to talk
absolutely
about it.
zero publicity as well.
Yeah, it was just chosen as the show. It's like Picard season 3. That was chosen as that year's show that was good.
Yes, that. Oh my god! If you haven't mentioned that show, I would have forgotten about it.
But each year, I've noticed since the situation where everyone wasn't allowed to leave their homes, each year there's been a show that hasn't been any good, and it's been pretty poor. Has been like praised by the YouTube critic community, and if you say it's bad, you get attacked. And then once it's been like a month, everyone forgets about it, and it only ever gets brought up again when they say, "Oh well, the industry isn't entirely woke and rubbish. Look, we had Picard season 3. It shows that there's still good writers in Hollywood." And that's the only reason these shows ever get praised.
Picard.
Like,
Yes.
right? It's like, oh, TLO, The Last of Us was a great show. See, it shows that there's still good writers.
But,
I'm like,
but look, we got the original staff here. Like, isn't that amazing?
oh, Fallout shows that the media industry isn't completely controlled by wokeness, and it can still pump out good things. You just got to get better writers. It's like, right, you sound like you're coping a lot. And it sounds like you're just picking these shows just as like a defense.
As a
Again.
defense that, like, oh well, I can like things too, guys. Look,
Yeah.
there's quality entertainment still. Wokeness doesn't exist.
Mm.
But look at these ludicrous ideas of people trying to murder the entire population of the earth because it gives them profit by making customers non-existent.
It's like another thing with like good shows. It's like you can tell when someone truly loves a franchise or something. They'll mention it repeatedly and stuff. It's like Nolan loves Buffy. He brings it up in other videos that how to do things correctly.
Oh,
They don't do that. Yeah, well, okay. They don't. He doesn't do that with like The Last of Us.
he doesn't do that because, like, what is done well in Last of Us? Gay sex.
I still can't believe they praised that episode, and then the guy who wrote the episode went, "Yeah, I did it to trick people into watching gay sex."
That was the biggest like shock to me because I went to the pub with a friend of mine who I have known for years, and I told him that, like, I thought that the episode was complete shit. Like, remember the game? Like, those two characters hate each other. Like, we could still get the idea that they were gay for each other, but like those two really didn't get along, and like one of them really hated the other one. And then he said, like, but it was such a beautiful episode. Like, the characters, the things that happened on the screen, I really root for them. It's like, who the fuck cares? Like, I don't care about some faggots like eating strawberries.
But no, I feel like Fallout is going to be the show for a month, and it's going to get forgotten about.
Yeah.
And then soon people will start, like Spud says, they'll start noticing things wrong, bits and bobs.
Like
And
the
then
last
people
scene,
say, "Oh, we always hated them. We always hated this show."
the final episode is just so blatantly obvious, like what was going on. Because like I feel like every like we have seen this like so many times. Like the first few episodes is just like your casual, like it's going in dry. It's trying to lube you in until the middle of the season. They're like, oh, it's gonna be a decent show to watch, and then in the final few episodes, it just goes bonkers. It completely lets loose. Like some series are just complete garbage, like the Cowboy Bebop adaptation was, but this one is just like very sneaky if you're not paying attention. But of course, like if you have played the games, it's just more obvious.
It's the episode precursor. The episode precursors are what happens in all these shows. The first two episodes are the best quotation mark episodes of the series to like draw people in. Then episode 3 just throws everything to the wind.
Yeah, good point. They have totally missed that.
What do you think, Smudge? Being quiet.
I just realized I gotta start this whole series now. I'm gonna do a review of every chapter or every episode.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Oh, that's gotta bring in the views.
No, it's gonna hurt me more, but I honestly thought the first episode wasn't bad. I thought it was entertaining, as weird as it was, and as silly, because Fallout's always been silly. It's supposed to be silly because you're in this crazy world. So I get it. People are nuts. But
yeah, it's a little bit of everything. That's kind of like the charm.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, what's the perk? Bloody Mess, where you can get in Fallout that everything blows up in a cluster of blood and guts.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like. Everyone's got that
ludicrous. What's it called? Ludicrous. I can't remember.
The one trade that gets you like crazy events around you.
Oh, that's Wild Wasteland. I don't think if that was what happened with one of the characters, that'd be hilarious. That'd be actually like, imagine one of the characters, his luck stat, like we're thinking Maximus, his luck stat is like a 10 because he just happens to be a squire, even though his friend got it. He happens to get a power armor, even though he doesn't deserve it. He happens to find Lucy. It's like all this stuff is happening to him, but he sucks at everything. So it's like he's just a noob.
But if he can wear power armor, that means that he got the training as well.
Apparently,
like, you need like a separate training to wear those things.
That's the thing, though. When they first see the guys in power, we're like, "Oh my god, is that the T60?" It's like, "Ooh, how does it work?" They don't know anything about it, and then they see it in the bay, and they're walking in. They just, because they're not allowed to walk in, they walked in anyway with his friend who gets promoted. And immediately like, whoa! And then the guys find him. You're being summoned. It's not Maximus. It's his friend. The friend gets the promotion. So it's like they know nothing about power. There's no mention of training. There's no mention of how it works and how it's fueled. Or it's just a big pile of super, makes you super. Like that's it. There's no explanation. There's no tech. There's no science. I want science fiction in my science fiction story in the future, but nope, can't do it. So all this stuff happens to Finn or Maximus, and he just lucks out. He's still alive. We don't know why. He got bodied by the Ghoul, and he lands in the middle of, I don't know, some guy's taking a piss, and he just lands right near him, and they're like, okay, he's still alive, I guess. So much weird stuff is happening that if it were to be someone like him with the high luck stat or Wild Wasteland perk, that would make some sense. That'd be hilarious. Like there'd be some like Tim Kaine guy just sitting there on a bench like, oh yeah, you seem like a very strange fellow. You're not from around here, are you?
Yes.
He starts explaining his special system, and the guy's like, what the hell are you talking about, you crazy old man? Oh, don't worry about it, youngster. You'll figure it out eventually. So, because it started off with Lucy describing her stats in science and repair and guns, gunslinging, and like, oh, this is cool. This is kind of like the game. And then it goes into her, I have functional reproductive organs and da da da. It's like, okay.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah. So it's,
Joe Crazy mentioned it. Yeah, this kind of irritates me that Hollywood feels like every single character that has a helmet on isn't a good representation for the movie, because then you can't see his reaction. That is really
well,
irritating.
they had a codpiece thing. I don't know what it was, but it looked like a codpiece. The guy, because this is the first time he's having this conversation with Titus the knight.
Yes.
He's like, what can I do for you? And the guy's like, clean this. And he pulls off this codpiece or whatever, his crotch area. And there's nothing wrong with it. It just, I don't know. Just starts scrubbing it. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So
I've now thought that in future I'm going to introduce people by saying I've got intelligence of 5. Also, I've got reproductive organs that work.
yeah.
I think that's a wonderful way to impress the ladies.
I really hope that they go into Game Mechanics, but they never will. There's no way they will, and they shouldn't, because it's real life. They're trying to make it real. But every time weird stuff happens, like he's flying around in his broken suit, and you're like, okay, this is too goofy. Like, I get Tim Kaine comedy, but Tim Kaine would never imagine. And I think he even said he liked the show, so it's like, all right, fine. Tim Kaine likes it.
He got invited personally, so by Todd Howard.
Yeah. Fine.
Personally, and the other thing is that, like, he's like, imagine like the kind of like a shit show you would get if like the creator of the franchise that you just adapted just says that, like, well, I think it's garbage.
Well, I actually finished playing. I got it for free on Epic, The Outer Worlds, and imagine. I don't know if you guys played it, but imagine. I'm trying to think. Like, it's basically like Fallout in space, but not as interesting or not as compelling. They did a really good job with the corporations and the brands, and whenever you go to
Ace's choice.
Yeah, I really liked all the setting and all this stuff that happens in it. But the first 20 minutes, I'm like, there's an awful lot of women in this story. And I was trying to figure out, like, why are all the women in charge of things, and why are the dock workers half men, half women, and why are all the marauders men? And they actually made DLC to explain that, which I thought was good, because if you're going to explain lore through DLC, that's a great idea. But the way it works, the story of how the marauders were all men ended up a fight between a rich scientist and who's a lady and her daughter who wanted to help her mom with her job. And that's the whole argument, ended up making marauders. It all ended up being men. I was like, oh, so you're saying the entire galaxy is screwed because these two women couldn't figure out to have a sit down and talk about their feelings. And that's how the DLC ends. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Okay.
My favorite thing about the entire Outer Worlds is the fact that the reason why everything's going to shit is because they don't know how to make food anymore.
Oh, there's this really
sword rust.
There's this really great DLC, and it's the creepiest thing. I actually felt repulsed. It was so creepy. There's this scene where you come across this kiosk in the middle of this rich hotel thing, and there's the death of some Hollywood actor style chick. And you go to these farms where they're farming whatever, and you see this uncanny valley smile, like this super duper happy smile. And it looks so creepy. But on top of that, there's this parasite attached to her neck. And you're like, oh my God. And you're just like, I'm freaking out. And the response to the dialogue is like, are you okay? There's a thing on your neck. Do you want me to remove that? Oh, that's nothing. Don't worry. And you encounter more of these people that have this parasite attached to their neck. And that ends up being one of the major things in the storyline that comes to a point, which is the end boss and the culmination of all the story. And they did it in such a way that it was so explosive and subtle, because not everyone had the parasite, and then you learn about the parasite and the it wasn't Space Force Choice. I can't remember who was doing it, but they were the ones that found this parasite, and it hooks into your body and it just gives you pure endorphins. Like you're just tripping balls. You're so happy and you're so efficient. Everything's awesome. I'm going to do that for you. Like, that's the perfect worker they wanted. the problem was the parasite multiplies and it bursts out of your body and just just takes over everything. And the guy's like, I don't care. It's going to make people happy. And you have to like fight him and the giant parasite. By then, the game is so easy. You're basically a DPS god, and you have two other companions that are also DPS gods, so everything dies within seconds. Well, it's kind of boring, but
That's crazy.
but it's the creep. I've never been creeped out by a game like that, and it keeps happening. Even after you kill everyone, there's this guy in the back who's like pulling the levers. He's just a tech head, and he's also got one of those parasites. Like kill him, and you kill him, and you lose points from the organization that you've been trying to save. It was so funny. I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind the Outer Worlds. It's just, I don't know. There's not much to really do afterwards. Like, you get so far, and like you say, it becomes an easy game.
Yeah, you get the light auto cannon or light auto machine gun, and it's the Mark III, and you just destroy. Like, who cares about mods? Who cares? Just crank it up, spend all your money on the one gun, and even your AI squad mates, because it's a chain gun, like it shoots wildly. They will pull the trigger once, one bullet, boom, gone. Will kill anything. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. So there's no real reason to get armor and do any of the upgrades. But the story was fun. I really liked the setting. It was like BioShock in space with the Fallout vibe. And
the professor was such a rip off of Rick Sanchez, though.
Really? Oh, I guess.
Look at his outfit.
You get a lot of space or science weapons like ray guns and stuff that are interesting. I've never used them because I never had to. And I was like, okay, this is a shrink ray. This is a mind control ray. And I'm like, who cares? I can kill anything within seconds. And like it's such an easy game. But the setting was great. I really liked the concepts. There's so many women that it's just like, and they all have the same butchy haircut. There's maybe 3 or 4 girls that have like slightly longer hair, or the girl in the DLC has her hair in a bun, so it's longer. But you never see it. You never see long hair.
Oh, they have the lesbian like side shave.
They have the butchy, and the personalities are all over the place. They're mostly evil because everyone's crazy. So it's fine. There's only like 2 good guys. Like the one guy on your team who's a priest dude.
Oh,
and
Father, I can't remember his name.
I think it's Maximilian.
Yeah, Maximilian. Yeah, Father Max.
Yeah, and the other guy you get who's just a dock worker who seems normal.
Yeah, because you have him. You have Sam the robot.
3 chicks.
Coaster.
Yeah. The 3 chicks. You're it's so funny. The AI pilot is Jack from Mass Effect. Yeah. The voice actress. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like all these voices are that sounds awfully familiar. So I'm recognizing all these actors. So
it's just being rehired to the same ish game again and again.
I like the games where it is a first person and there is voice acted stuff, like with Deus Ex. I really like that style. So it's a fun, and it was free DLC. This is great. So I don't think it was an amazing game, but it wasn't a bad game at all. And I knew what they were trying to do with it. And it felt so small budget triple. I don't know if that's the right term, like small budget AAA. Like it felt simple and but a high production value. There was something missing to it. Like, you know how Fallout has this vibe with the music and the Nuka-Cola and the themes and all the stuff you could encounter. And I felt maybe the music was missing. Maybe the second by second action. Maybe that was missing. But other than that, I really liked the inventory system. I liked how you encountered items, and I like how the prefab houses were closed, like they were all open to you. So that made some sense. I liked how the level design worked. They sort of forgot about the sneaking part, which I thought I got pissed off on, because they teach you how to crawl, or not crawl, but you hide in bushes. You could walk through the bushes, and then they just forget about it. Yep. It's like, why not use that?
Yeah, they use it in the first mission, and then like never brought up again. And if you try and use it again, you get spotted. And
I think because you become so strong, there's no point. And plus, I never use my companion's skills.
no,
They have skills. One guy does a drop kick, the other guy like clobbers him. Like you could just use them. I never touch them. I didn't have to. So I just min-maxed my weapons and then just blew the shit out of everything very quickly. So anyway, that was my rant on a Tim Kaine game.
much more interesting than whatever that we were discussing before.
Oh, it's a good. Yeah, it was free for, I don't know. It's still free. It's probably not, but on Epic Games.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna close the stream soon. But yeah, go ahead, Hawk.
You've got Greedfall. I've never been able to finish that.
That was interesting. I got to like the 80% mark and I stopped playing for whatever reason.
I don't know why I couldn't finish it.
It's very repetitive.
Yeah.
And the storyline drags on with when you get the witch companion or whatever the druid companion is, and I ended up getting bored because I had this musket cannon gun that just blew everything away from a far distance, and it didn't matter about the gameplay, so I just blew everyone with a gun, and I got bored. So it was fun. It was fun for the first, like, holy shit, this cannon rocks! He's blowing everything up from 50 yards, and you're like, all right.
It's the same one as the gun for the Ghoul from the show.
I guess. It's just like boom, boom.
Same firepower.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. So does anyone else have something to add to the discussion?
I'm only on the second episode. I watched it. I had really mixed reaction to it. And this is reminding me of the first season of Picard, where I'm hopeful, and then I'm like, and then the third episode, I know what's going on. I'm like, oh, this is what this is all about now.
Well, maybe we are gonna get the second season, and then the third season is gonna get like Ron Perlman to narrate.
If they
that's gonna be in the trailer. I can only see that.
If they kept the anthology technique, which they used in the first episode, and I don't know if you guys know if you've watched Heroes or Boomtown, where they have like one character and they give them 5 minutes, they have another character, they give them 5 minutes, they jump around. That's an anthology technique.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah. So if they kept that up, that would be great, because then we get little slices and we jump and we go from goofy to serious, and that would be a really. If you're just looking for drama sort of scenario, you get the comedy, you get the drama, you get the action, you get whatever, and that would hopefully stop the lore breaking of your brain. At least you get some entertainment out of changes of pace and setting. So if they did that, I'll keep watching. I don't know. I'm gonna keep going, and I don't think it's gonna break me or anything. I think it's gonna bore me. So we'll find out. I'm interested in what happens, because she has to decapitate a guy because he said so, and this guy's a pre-war scientist, and I'm like, what is up? This guy injected himself with some sort of radioisotope, and he's not aging. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, that's the father of the main character, right?
I don't know his name. He's a research doctor guy with a dog, and the dog dies and then comes back to life with the stim pack. I'm like, okay, this is getting silly. So, we'll see.
Well, it got greenlit for season 2. Well, because they already commissioned that much for Velma.
Wow.
But, for this one, I think like it makes money for them, because it has definitely like the mainstream like.
This is Amazon.
Crowd. Amazon, yeah.
So Netflix isn't going to cancel it. They're going to keep going.
They're not going to cancel it. Yeah, it's on Prime, and with that kind of budget, they definitely have the investment that they're gonna like blow it. I'm kind of thinking that maybe they have bought some of those critics as well, because I watched I looked at the Rotten Tomato score, and both the critic and the viewer score has been around 90 something.
Wow.
So it's either that like they are not expecting too much from the show, or that like there's not much entertainment for TV at the moment.
I could imagine a 7 if I knew nothing about Fallout and I was just watching a show for the sake of it. I'd be like, this is entertaining for what it is. Don't think about it. It's simple. It's colorful. It's a high quality production. Story time is not worth it, but it's supposed to be goofy. So you have a lot of leeway when you're telling a goofy story and things blow up and there's gore. It's basically a 70s flick that's a budget film but made with a higher budget. So I think that's fine. But it's when you start using your brain, you think this is serious and there's themes and there's like, oh, drama and the love relationships. Like, nope,
Yeah.
not there.
It's 94 for the critics and 88 for the audience.
Jeez.
That is still really high.
Yeah, I gotta cover this. This is hurting my brain
Yeah.
already to see that.
That is just like way too high.
These people.
Mhm.
It's way too high for something that everyone just goes, oh, it's fun, it's okay. It's at 90%. It's okay. No, you need to be a bit more, specific. What is okay about this show?
Yeah, that's like
You say-
saying Bluey for kids is okay. Yeah, for kids. If you want a silly little animated show.
Blue's fantastic. It's
Yeah,
fun,
Blue.
a drama, emotion. I've cried at it. There's scenes that like really tug at your heartstrings.
I watch it with my niece and nephew when they come by. They like watching Bluey. It's like great.
I watch it with my daughters.
Yeah.
It's great, yeah. It upsets me because obviously they've got 2 daughters, I've got 2 daughters. It's like, connects to our family. So I'm like, oh, that's nice. Then my missus looks at me. I'm like, don't you judge me.
I never had this when I was a kid.
No, my
I
father
have
just used
no
to beat me.
emotions. Oh yeah, you mentioned the story to me, Hog, that you couldn't gaslight your future wife that the scene doesn't mention bombing
Oh, yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Like you
someone
really
said-
tried hard.
Yeah, someone said obviously about the scene with Voltec, but they never mentioned dropping the bomb first in the entire scene. So I showed the scene to my missus, and she went, "They say it quite clearly. There's a long pause. It's very obvious that they're going to drop the bomb first." I went, "See, exactly." And she's like, "Whoever told you it didn't happen is an idiot." I'm like, "Nothing gets past you, dear. Thank God you're the brains of the relationship."
Yeah. Right. That was a nice discussion we just had. Well, I don't know if we are gonna have more streams about Fallout, but if it gets even more crazier, we might do more because I think this was quite
We'll
constructive.
have to definitely do one after Smud has watched all the episodes. tonight.
Yes, that has
perused.
to happen.
So Smud could be there with his glass of whiskey and it's like, guys, honestly.
I'm gonna buy you some good Parmesan, so you can dry your sorrows. That
I prefer the real stuff, Parmigiano, but if you can get
Parmigiano Reggiano.
if you can get anything from Modena or I have enough I think I have enough Italian cheeses, but I don't have any Parmigiano in the house. So
I actually bought a new cheese that was like with hay flour something. Like was fermented in a hay flour bed, something like that. Very unique taste.
It sounds like a cheddar. I've seen the
It
rind.
is in the texture.
I've seen the rind. They use I don't know if it's hay, but they put a lot of like small pieces of grass covering
Yes.
on top, so it looks like it's messy, like a ground floor or something. And that has a floral aroma. You don't eat it; you have to cut it off, of course. But I've seen that with cheddar, so it could taste good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was about it. Thank you very much for everyone for coming to see the stream, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
See you.